Good morning, everyone. As Fabi said, my name is Phil. I'm the owner and operator of Forseti Training. We're a local vocational training company, and we're best known for our training in first aid. We've run a few schemes with councils. We've run two with Portsmouth City Council. One was in conjunction with the Crime Commissioner, which is our Fabi. We had one of our GRIP response kits on site here. And also work with Winchester Council. For me, first aid really become as a bit of a byproduct. I've been a first aid in the workplace for about 30 years. I've worked in nighttime economy security, I've done festivals and corporate work and everything else. Surprisingly, my worst incident actually happened when I was working at the law courts. You think, what can really happen at the law courts? But unfortunately, I did end up using a defib on someone at the law courts who had a massive heart attack. And it was really quite strange for me because up until that point, I'm kind of like most people in this room probably are now. They're probably going, yeah, it's first aid, it's just basic stuff, it's a day out of the office and everything else. And it's really when you put those skills into practice and you start looking into the facts and figures, you kind of realise how important it is to know how to do those basic things that can really make a difference. So, it says it all on the screen. First aid training here, one of the big benefits for you guys is the importance to your staff that it shows that you care about their well-being. For them to have the knowledge to know that they can help each other and help their customers should they arrive and everything else really helps to instill a sense of pride in their company. One of the companies I work with, the King's Theatre, has over 50 first aid trained staff by me on site. Now, for those who don't know the King's Theatre, it's down the South Sea. It holds about 1,400 people. They have about 20 to 25 staff on, plus acts and everything else on a given night. Most of their staff are now full first aid trained, and they've instilled that on them. And when I get their guys come onto the course, you hear in them, they're kind of going, yeah, we know the company cares about us. We know the company cares about what's going on. So, having that in there, okay, is key. But also, when people understand what drives first aid, they become more aware and they end up making their workplaces and their surroundings a lot more safer because of that. So, some statistics for you. These are all taken from the latest figures that are available from the Health and Safety Executive. That does only go up into 2024. Unfortunately, if any of you deal with government, you appreciate their statistics are quite far behind. Okay. Non-fatal workplace injuries. So these are injuries that have been reported. Okay. They may not have come under your riddle procedures, but they still have to be reported for one reason or another. 642,000, of which 61,500 were major reportable instances. So for those of you who don't deal with health and safety, basically a riddle incident is those where someone has either lost more than 2 fingers, has an overnight stay, or has been unable to work for over 7 days. So we've had 61,500 instances like that. Okay? And that's also resulted in workplace alone fatalities of just under 140 people. Hospital admissions from bleeding. So we're seeing a real focus on bleeding. For those of you that don't watch the news, it's a bit of a hot topic. We have new laws and legislations coming out, and bleeding injuries is something that we face not just in our workplace, but also within societies. Who here is local? Lives local? Have you noticed that you can't say on TV on at the moment about seeing something like a knife attack in Portsmouth? Okay, it's quite sobering. However, people sometimes say to me, well, why are you going to talk to workplaces like this? It doesn't happen here. Unfortunately, it did in Whiteley. Okay. And it was someone literally, it was a domestic violence that escalated, and it turned up at the local workplace and stabbed her fellow colleagues. Bleeding is a big concern for us. Okay. Hospital admissions from bleeding, okay, just under 31,000. In total, just under 24 million admissions to hospital. Okay. Cardiac arrest. So, a cardiac arrest, the easy way to describe it is when the electrics go wrong in the heart. For whatever reason, cardiac arrest, the electrics have gone wrong. out of hospital, up to June this year, we've already had over 100,000 in the UK out of hospital cardiac arrest. And with a cardiac arrest, the recovery rates are scary. Okay. As I said down here, this is kind of for you guys, absence from work, okay, due to injury up to 7 days, okay, just under 500,000. So if you guys are in charge of your workplace, okay, imagine at least one of you in this room will have a staff member that's actually been off sick for over 7 days. Okay. And this is the one down here, same period, okay, over 4,000 deaths resulting from bleeding. And this is why it's so important that we start to tackle these. Okay. So the deaths themselves, okay, employees, self-employed, members of the public. It's pretty spread. There is no guarantee of which person is going to affect. Okay. So that was up there. So some figures in the room, okay? How much would you like to think that these workplace instances have cost in terms of financials in this period? Any guesses? It works better if you've got people interacting.
500,000, Phil.
500,000?
Yeah.
Right.
4 million.
4 million? Okay. Let's take 4 million as a benchmark. Who thinks more than 4 million? Hands up. Who thinks less? Accidents and injuries in the workplace, okay? The cost is estimated 7.1 billion. Okay. Now that comes from everything from sick pay, from time it takes you to fill out accident reports, from investigation work, okay? First aid supplies, restocks, everything else. Okay? So, Fabi unfortunately was involved in an incident. Okay? And a couple of things to discuss here. When we don't act, we are really, okay, saying that that person's life doesn't matter. And the reason I say that, okay, and it sounds harsh, is because so many people stand back and don't act because they're afraid to act. Okay? And my job, okay, and something we cover a lot on our courses, okay, is getting over that fear. Doing something is better than nothing. Okay? So it says here, okay, hospital discharge rates over 7% when no one attempted CPR. So that's 7% of people that actually made it alive to the hospital were actually finally discharged afterwards. Okay. I've risen slightly when we actually use CPR. Okay. But a big jump here. When we involve a defibrillator, we rise that to near a 40% survival rate. So that's 40% if we can get there, administer CPR and get a defib on. And time to treatment is something I talk about a lot, TTT, and it's important. So Fabi's reactions by staying cool and doing what she did, okay, and working with the others, was key in giving the person the best opportunity to get there. Now, if I turn around and say to you, well, you've got a 40% chance of winning the national lottery tonight, but you must buy your ticket from the Tesco down the road. How many of you are going to Tesco when we finish it? All right. So, why aren't defibs everywhere? And the scariest statistics about this is, of those 100,000, a defib is available in 40% of the cases. But it's only used 10% of the time. And when we say used, we mean taken out of the case and connected. And again, it's this fear. It's this fear of doing first aid, fear of getting it wrong. Okay? We do have certain laws and everything else, and I'm not going to go into a full-on speech, we'll talk about the laws. There are laws out there to protect us, to help people. Okay? We're not like our friends across the pond, okay, where we have ambulance chasing lawyers and everything else. We do have things in place in this country to protect you. Okay? But we need to act in the first place. And my personal gripe is I hate it when people turn up and ask me, why did you use the AD? No, because I don't know how. I can tell you now, every single AD on this market, okay, tells you and shows you how to react. Okay? And that's so much so that when I teach on my courses, okay, I'm there teaching my CPR, and I say to one of the students who picks up around and I go and get me the defib over there. And he goes off and he comes back and what do you fit it? I don't tell him. I literally make them fit it around you. Just to highlight to the group, you don't need the training. What you need to do is trust the equipment. Okay? And defibs are key on that. So we talked about bleeding. Okay? It is something that's quite close to my heart. I've dealt with through my time economy too many instances from stabbings and glass seals and everything else. And I've seen how it affects lives and how it can actually potentially take lives as well. Okay? And it is a massive, massive draw for us. It's not just knife crime and everything else we need to look at. When we look at things like road traffic accidents, okay, workplace accidents, industrial settings, everything else, okay, bleeding is the cause of death in over 40% of those circumstances. So the ability and the understanding of how to treat that is getting a major focus on first aid. And as of April this year, April 1st of April this year, all of your security should have been trained on critical bleed techniques. Yeah? And hopefully, after October this year, when the European Council releases their latest guidelines, it will become a mandatory unit within all first aid courses. So hopefully you guys will become first aid courses, you'll get those skills and those understandings of just how to make a difference. And it's not just when you're at work. For those of you that are local, okay, remember the incident in North End happened in the middle of the day when people were out shopping. Okay? There was one last Monday, okay? The guy was by St Mary's Church in Fratton, and he's walking along with a massive zombie knife in his arm. Okay? These are things happening during the day when people are out and about. These are not nighttime incidents, okay? And they're happening everywhere. Okay? Let's not do all doom and gloom. So I talk about King's Theatre, okay? Their time to treatment is very, very quick. And in the instant where the person done CPR at King's Theatre, it was successful. And when I was speaking to the lady recently, okay, what was quite funny was that she had someone that went off and got the defib for her, come back, okay, and placed the pads in completely wrong position because they were so panicked, they weren't listening to the machine, they weren't looking at it, okay, she had to stop CPR, reposition the pads herself, okay, and then the machine kicked in. And it saved her life. So now when she looks back, okay, and unfortunately we do develop this real macabre sense of humour about this sort of thing, okay, she's kind of like, well, yeah, it worked, didn't it? But, yeah. But that company, okay, I always used to highlight, okay, it's enough 70% of their staff have full first aid training. Okay. Might not need to use it. But if they have a situation, they are pretty confident that they're going to be able to deal with it. And they also have the equipment there to deal with the bleeds as well as the defibs, and multiple of each on site. Okay, so if any of you are visiting the King's Theatre, you can feel safe. Okay. So, in terms of bleeding, you may see some of these about, okay, we're called packed kits. Okay? Come in various different shapes and sizes, they're all different ones, and yes, I have my own little one. I've shaved my beard a bit since then. Everyone says, why do you shave your beard? I was like, because it's summer and it gets hot. Okay? And in our kit, it's very simple, okay, nice and easy. Okay? I'm a massive believer in what we call KISS principle when it comes to first aid. Does anyone here know what the KISS principle is?
Keep it simple, stupid.
Thank you. It's what people tell me to do when I've been talking a lot of time. Okay? But it's that ability, okay, when you're under these high pressure situations, we want to keep it as simple as we can so it can be effective. Okay? And stuff we use, okay, is that. Okay, our tourniquet can be fitted one-handed, so you can have it with your forestry guys or your gardeners, okay, if they have an accident, they can fit it themselves with one hand, don't have to worry. Okay? The hemostat is what we use for controlling bleeding, okay, literally the one we use, you can take it out, slap it on. Now luckily you guys do have some on site, because they're in our kit, okay, which Fabi has control of, but we do have a time we need to adhere to. With bleeding, a time is 3 to 4 minutes. That's how long the critical bleed we have before we lose a critical amount of blood. Okay? So having the equipment around is necessary. Okay? And the people that are trained to use it helps, but with that KISS principle, okay, you can literally just like shout at someone down your radio, okay, just take it out back and slap her on, okay, and it will work.